What's up, you guys? It's Aaron here, back at you with another book review. Do not have the book in front of me because this was my first time actually reading an ebook. And this book came recommended to me from Rudy Aguilar. Thank you for the recommendation. And this book was The Giver, which for me was the first time that I read a fiction book in quite a while because I've been reading a lot of personal development and nonfiction books, and I was actually pleasantly surprised finding joy in reading a fiction and using my mind to create the scenery while I read the book. So Rudy, thanks for the recommendation. If anyone else has recommendations they want to see me do a review on, please leave them in the comments. And from watching the last video, I realized that most people only watch the video for 4 minutes. So we're going to try to get right to the point to what I learned from the book and what I'm going to use from it, because I think that's what really matters to people, and then do the further in-depth analysis a little bit later in the video. So for me, reading The Giver, not a fiction book, but what I took from it too is to really, and what I'm going to implement is to embrace uncertainty in my life and be grateful for all the calamities that may happen in your life, the happy accidents, and know that they are in my life for a reason and they will help me live a life well lived. So I'm going to take all the uncertainty in life, all the challenges, all the pain and suffering that may come along with it, especially right now with the whole COVID-19 thing going around and being quarantined in our house. There's a lot of uncertainty to see how things are going to unfold, but I'm going to embrace that and take that. So that's my main takeaway from the book that I'm going to implement in my life, because in the book, if you've read it, you would know that the scene is a utopia, maybe a dystopia, where everything is pretty similar. People don't really get hurt. People don't talk about things that make them uncomfortable. There's a very set number of rules that you are to follow when you are in the society that you live by. So that makes things seem like it would be all for the better to get rid of the pain, the suffering, the uncomfortableness, the uncertainty in life. But really all those things I just mentioned add to the color life and makes life worth living. And if you see me looking down to the side here, I do have my iPad here, so I can read notes from it that I took for the book. If you're interested in the more in-depth notes, let me know, and I'd be happy to email them or send them in a Facebook message to you, just because I have the longer form, but don't really know how to get that out yet, or if people are even interested in it. Also, if you like this video, and if you want to help me out, if you would hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, I would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you subscribe to my channel, also helps me out, because I do want to, the knowledge I'm getting, I want to share it more. Because as I mentioned in the last video, is that I really enjoy teaching, just not teaching in necessarily the academic standpoint, but just lessons that I learned and valuable takeaways from my life that I want to share with others as well. Especially as I'm reading a book a week now for the whole year, I want to share as many lessons as I can, so you don't necessarily have to read a book if you don't want to. So if you could do those things, that would help me out. If you're also interested in reading The Giver, I'll have a link down below in the description. So if you want to pick up a copy for yourself, go ahead and read it. I know most people probably read this in middle school, and maybe I was supposed to too. I don't remember. I didn't then, but I really enjoyed it now. I was able to just sit down, knock it out within a couple hours. I didn't put the book down the whole time, so it was really enjoyable for me. Like I said, it was nice to be able to use my imagination and create the scenery around the book. And I actually took a lot more from it than I thought I was going to. So on the ebook version, it was about 139 pages. This is now the more in-depth analysis for the video. So if you liked everything so far, like it, subscribe, go on with your day. If you want to learn a little bit more, stick around with me. I'll be going through more of the book. Because I would give this book a 10 out of 10 rating. It's one of my favorite books I've read in a while, probably because I haven't read any fiction in quite some time now, so that's probably why I enjoyed it. But I would recommend this book to anyone who enjoys or reading about utopias or dystopias. I would also recommend this for anyone who wishes that life was easier, who likes a lot of structure in their life, who doesn't like uncertainty, or really anyone who simply just feels lost. This book would be great for you. Or if you primarily read nonfiction, this is a great book to help you get back into reading fiction. So I realized that in life, having that lack of rigidity and uncertainty is really what creates beauty in our life. Going through the pain and suffering of maybe losing a loved one, of maybe going through a failure, of things just not going your way. Going all that adds to your own story. And what I mean about that is your story is how your life unfolds. So going through all those things adds color. And what I really like about that too is it makes you more relatable. Because there might be someone else who is going through the loss of a loved one. Maybe they're going through something they seem as a failure. Maybe they're going through a tough time. If you are going through something similar, you may not know exactly how they feel, but you can at least relate to them and you can express empathy towards them. So I think going through that pain creates a lot of color in your life and makes you more relatable. And you can't have those really highs in your life if you don't go through the lows as well. So I think overcoming those setbacks and the pain also makes you stronger. So it's important to be able to go through those so you can enjoy the better times when they come. And then I also was just kind of like thinking on the deeper level now. So if you like deep thoughts, this is my deep thought from the book, is just thinking of the fact that all of us alive are here. We're made up of trillions of cells that have come together to be able to form our humanness, to be able to understand, think, relate to others. So that's crazy. But then we're also on a giant spinning rock that's keeping us alive, and what allows us to have this life here on Earth is a giant fireball, and I looked this fact up, that's 93 million miles away, and that's what allows us to have life here on Earth, and that we started out as a single sperm cell and a single egg, and those coming together help create who we are. So the fact that you're even here and can understand this video is really quite remarkable, and maybe that can help you get through some tough times as well. So as I go through reading the book, it was actually really nice doing it on the ebook because I could copy and paste and put it into a note, any passages that I liked, any quotes, and I could actually email it to me so I could put it all in my notes here in a little file so I can go back to it. But as I read, I usually like to highlight and take lessons away as I'm going through, and it's really nice to be able to go back now and create these videos too. So one of the quotes I really liked was, but there was no purpose in if-onlys. His entire concentration now had to be on moving his feet, warming Gabriel and himself, and going forward. So why I really like that quote was because if I get stuck in if-onlys, like, what if my life was this? Or if I only had this? We often say that, and maybe I often say that, maybe you do too, but we think life would be easier because of it, or we think we'd be somewhere else, or we're like, oh, we could just have this. So it's easy to think about those and think about how things should be, what the if-onlys are in our life that we would want. But you can't really focus on that because that's not going to happen. You just have to keep thinking about taking one more step and moving forward in the direction that you want to go. So that quote really resonated with me. Another one was, but she is different, somehow alien, and that makes us uncomfortable. And I know for me, oftentimes if we see someone different from us, that maybe we don't quite understand, it makes us uncomfortable to be around them. And so we can express that uncomfortability by maybe being mean to them, maybe by teasing them, especially younger kids. If you're watching this, you may feel that same way. But what you need to do is really embrace them and accept that we're all going to be different. And that's really part of the beauty of life, is that we can make our individual choices, and that's part of being human there. So one funny quote that came at the end, which was her talking about the letters that she's received from children that have read the book and then sent her mail, is that one of the 7th grade boys sent in a letter saying, I was really surprised that they just died at the end. That was a bummer. You could have made them stay alive, I thought. Which is funny because she didn't mention them dying at all in the book. It's kind of ambiguous on how it ends. I'm not going to ruin it for you in case you do want to read it, so I'm not going to give away the ending there. But I just thought it was funny how he could have a totally different experience reading the book and seeing how the ending could be from what I could have. And if everything was the same and we all lived by the same rules and the same structure and the same guidelines, we wouldn't have the choice to be able to make up our own endings as we read a piece of fiction, or we can't design our lives. People just tell us how to live it. And that's part of where the fun comes in life, is the uncertainty and being able to make all the changes that you want in your life. So if you stuck around to the end, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would really help me out, especially as I'm trying to get more videos out there and to share the knowledge that I'm taking in. If you have any recommendations, please leave those in the comments. Again, this recommendation came from Rudy Aguilar. It was the first time for me to read fiction in quite a while, and my first ever time reading on an ebook, which was quite cool and a great experience. So Rudy, thank you for that. Hopefully I get to see you all very soon.